What's going on, everybody? Nick Gaschler here, and today is the day. It's Wednesday night. This is going out Thursday morning, and I am doing a 2022 mock draft. Did not get to the last of the film sessions. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. We're here for a final mock draft, and you're going to see me doing this live. So I've thought about it all day. This draft is just so weird because I have no clue what's going to happen, and it just does not feel right. But here we are. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to draft based on how I feel right now. It's going to be the draft that goes out on my Instagram. It's going to be the draft that goes out on the YouTube. So starting with pick one. And by the way, this is a what will happen rather than what I would do. So just keep that in mind as we go along. So anyway, pick one, Jacksonville. If it was me, obviously Aiden Hutchinson is the surefire choice here. However, I'm not drafting. Trent Baalke is. And 1 and 2, Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden's still in play here. He's obviously the better pick. He's the more complete player. I do like Trayvon Walker, but is he really worth the first overall pick? I don't know. This one, my head says Aiden Hutchinson, but my gut says Trayvon Walker. So I'm going to go Trayvon Walker first overall. I hate it. I hate every single second of it. I'll give it a C or a D in my draft grades. But I think that is what's going to happen, and hopefully it's not. But Aiden Hutchinson could very easily be the player. So now we get to Detroit at 2. It's a pretty slam dunk pick there. If Aiden Hutchinson falls, that should be the pick. Now we get back to the Texans at 3. And you get back into another interesting situation because you have Kayvon Thibodeaux, you have Sauce Gardner, Evan Neal, Derek Stingley, Ikem Ekwonu. I don't think Evan Neal will go here, so we can rule Evan Neal out. Ekwonu, I like Ekwonu here. I think he has a lot of potential to be really good with them. He can go inside to guard, he can play tackle, and you can move Titus Howard into guard. You can do a lot of things with Ikem Ekwonu. But I still think that their focus is corner right now. I think they're going to take a corner early. Signs are pointing to Sauce Gardner right now, and I get that. I like Sauce here. I think he'd be a good pick. But my plan or my theory is that the Texans wanted Derek Stingley at 13, and somebody has smokescreened him up to the third pick. To potentially get Sauce down the board, somebody being maybe the New York Giants. That's just my theory. So I think they're going to panic and take Derek Stingley here, which is not a bad pick. He's the number 2 player on my board. I like him a lot, but he's going to be that third player off the board. So we go defense for the first 4 picks, and I think we're going to potentially stay on that track with the Jets here. Thibodeau's obviously the front runner. He's not a lock, but I think he is the front runner right now. Excuse me, just grabbing a drink of water. Ikem Ekwonu, I think, would be a very attractive pick here. I think the Jets would be talking about it in their war room, and then Sauce Gardner is also on the board here. I don't think he's going to get picked here, though. God, this is a tough one because I like Ikem Ekwonu more than I like Kayvon Thibodeaux, so I'd obviously take Ekwonu here. But Thibodeaux, they have some offensive tackles. I know they don't love Mekhi Becton, but I think they need to give him a chance. I'm going to go Thibodeaux here. To make these top 4 all defense. And I think I'm not sure on that one, but I think that is going to be the pick for me. Moving on to number 5, the Giants, probably you're thinking Evan Neal or Charles Cross, but I'm going to go with a stunner here. I'm going to go Sauce Gardner. I think they're scared of potentially Carolina making a deal to get the Eagles up here or get the Ravens up here to take Sauce. So I think they're just going to play it safe. They love this kid, and I think he should be the pick here. Moving on to Carolina at 6, I do think that they should trade down. I think they're definitely looking at a trade down. This would be the first point in the draft where I think a trade down is viable. However, I'm not doing trades in this mock draft, so I'm just going to go with the safest option. And I think that's going to be one of these 2 offensive tackles. You saw my mouse kind of hovering over Ikem Ekwonu's, but Evan Neal is equally as probable here. I like Evan Neal a lot. I think he can be a good player. The medical rumors that he might be falling could be true, but for the most part, I think he's still going to stay in the top 10. I mean, you don't really let a top 10 talent fall down the board like that. So that's that. Then you have Charles Cross as well at 9 on this board. I don't think he's going to be the pick here. It's crazy that it's just been defense. The first 5 picks have been defense. We're definitely going offense here. You might ask about a quarterback. I don't think they'd take a quarterback here. I think they'd, again, try and trade down, get more assets to take a quarterback, and then ultimately get another pick to try and get to an offensive tackle like a Bernard Raymond in the second round or something like that. I'm going to go Kim Ekwonu. He is probably the best tackle on the board. I do like Evan Neal better with the medicals. That kind of pushes him up. I know he's not necessarily the Panthers' style of tackle, but he's looks bigger and plays bigger than Rashawn Slater does. Which is where we're kind of basing that thought off of. So I don't think that's maybe the best way of going about things. 7 for the Giants. They already took Sauce Gardner. It's going to be between Charles Cross and Evan Neal. I'm going to go Cross over Neal. That was just a split-second decision. I think Charles Cross, they love, I've heard, is what I've definitely heard. I think they love Neal too, but I think if these medical rumors are true, that would put somebody like a Charles Cross above Evan Neal. And this is the type of stuff that happens on draft night that you just have no way of knowing that would happen, but ends up happening, and it's something like that. So, moving on to 8, the Falcons, edge, wide receiver. I think we're down to these 3 guys right here. So Garrett Wilson, Drake London, and Jermaine Johnson. And I don't necessarily see why Jermaine Johnson's going top 10, but that's not my decision. I've heard the Drake London is the guy, but then again, Garrett Wilson is the best receiver on the board. And you see these top 4 receivers, you see Wilson, London, Williams, Olave, and you could really put these guys in any order. I would not be surprised if Jameson Williams goes first. I would not be surprised if Chris Olave went first and Drake London went last or something like that. It's just how close they are. I think Garrett Wilson is the clear-cut wide receiver 1, but I think personally the Falcons are kind of just looking for best player available on their board, and I think that could potentially be Wilson. But I think Johnson is also high from what I've heard on a lot of people's boards. I'm going to go Wilson. I'm just going to go with the safe pick right there. We saw them do that with Kyle Pitts last year. I think they'll do that again here. So moving on to number 9, this is pretty clear pick for the Seahawks. They could trade down here. This is definitely a trade down target. If a team like a Baltimore is trading up for a guy like a Jermaine Johnson, or if a Sauce Gardner is falling down the board necessarily, they might trade up for that guy. Or even a Steelers or a Saints going up for a quarterback. But right here, we're not doing trades, like I said. I think we're going to go Evan Neal. Evan Neal is a very solid player, and if he falls to 9, I think he'd be a slam dunk pick in that sense. Back to the Jets at 10. A tackle's off the board. An edge rusher is off. They already have their edge rusher in Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't think they go corner. I don't think they go safety. I'm going to go with wide receiver here. Now the question becomes what wide receiver. Drake London is here, but I think they go with the slam dunk pick, try and get that deep route, take the top off the defense type of player. I think they're going to go Jameson Williams. Moving on to 11. Again, I think it's going to be another wide receiver. I've heard a lot of Kyle Hamilton here, but I think Drake London, if he's there, should be a good pick. He's an ex-receiver that the Washington Commanders need, and he'd be a good pick there. Back up with the Vikings at 12. It says they need a safety. I don't know about Kyle Hamilton here. Kind of like Jordan Davis as well. I think Jordan Davis might have the opportunity to go pretty high. Jermaine Johnson is here. This is a tough pick between these 3 players. I mean, they're the 3 best players on the board right now. I'm going to go Jordan Davis. I think if he's up there, it would be too hard to pass up for them. Moving on to 13, we have Jermaine Johnson. We have Kyle Hamilton. I'm going to go Jermaine Johnson. I think he's fallen far enough. I don't necessarily view him as that type of player, but the rest of the league does. And I think that's where he's going to end up. So 14 for the Ravens. I think we're going to go Trevor Penning. I've heard a lot of smoke with Trevor Penning in the Ravens, and generally pre-draft smoke kind of turns out to be true for the most part. I think they can move him into guard. I think he'd be a super successful guard here. I don't like him this high, but he seems to have a good standing with the league, and he should go there. So now we get to the Eagles, which is a really interesting situation because you have no idea what they could do with this pick. They could go McDuffie. They could probably maybe reach on an edge. They could go wide receiver like a Chris Olave. They could go with a Devontae Wyatt type 3-tech to pair with Fletcher Cox. I think they just need to go best player available, and I think that's going to be Kyle Hamilton for them. He's a very good player and obviously deserves that pick up right there. If he's fallen all the way to 15, he should be the best player on the board by far and should be that pick. So moving on to the 16 Saints. This is tough because this is where we start thinking about quarterbacks. This is where we start thinking about quarterbacks. We have all the quarterbacks on the board. Malik, Desmond, Ritter, which is above Kenny Pickett, which is weird, but they need a wide receiver, so Chris Olave could potentially be in play here. I'm going to go, man, this is tough. Again, because this draft is just so weird because I don't know who anybody's going for. Damn, they got Olave low on this. Or maybe I'm just missing him. No? Okay. I'm going to go Olave here. Chris Olave has been held in high regard, and I think with the Chargers sitting right here, I'd get a little bit nervous if I was the Saints, because the Chargers do need a wide receiver. Imagine a core with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Chris Olave. That's pretty scary. So I think that they pair Chris Olave with Mike Thomas, another Ohio State wide receiver. And that I think that would be a good pairing, especially I think the Saints do at 16 depends on what the Chargers need, what the Chargers want. So if Penning is available at 16, I fully expect the Saints to go Penning to steal him away from the Chargers. Anywho, back to the Chargers at 17. I like Devontae Wyatt here, but with the character concerns, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go Trent McDuffie. I've looked at a lot of Chargers beat pages because this is the one pick that I keep coming back to and being like, who are they going to take here? It seems like they're kind of leaning corner. They could potentially move up for a guy like a Derek Stingley if he's there. Obviously, he goes 3 in this, but McDuffie to 17 feels like a good pick for them. 18 for the Eagles. They had a wide receiver escape their grasps. I think they ultimately trade up to here for Jamison Williams, in my personal opinion. But we're back here. I think 18 might be Wyatt's floor. They have expressed a lot of interest in him, which is usually a good sign for prospects. And if Devontae Wyatt is here, I think they say, screw the character concerns. We want a player, and we're going to go with Devontae Wyatt. Which brings the Saints back up onto the board. We're just moving as fast as we can here. I think this is a quarterback here. If there's no wide receiver or a tackle available, I think this is a quarterback. So we're looking at these three. I've heard that they like Pickett better, but it's just so tough to pass on Malik Willis. I don't think all three of these quarterbacks will be available at 19. I think we're going to have some trades into the top 10 to get their quarterback, or potentially trades out of the top 10 right here to get their quarterbacks, cough, cough, Carolina. I'm going to go Pickett. He's more of a safe option for them that they can potentially develop behind Jameis, have start this year if it goes bad. And there's your pick up there. 20 for the Steelers. I think Malik Willis, if he's here, you can't pass up on him. Even with Mitch Trubisky, even if Baker Mayfield coming out, you have to go bank on your quarterback. And the crazy thing is Malik Willis's ceiling is 2, and his floor is 20. He could go anywhere. But I do think he falls, unfortunately, to his floor, which is a little bit near where I value him. I think he's the 18th best player on my big board. That brings us to 21. The Patriots, Zion Johnson should not be this high. I like Devin Lloyd here. Devin Lloyd has kind of just been a lock for me to the Patriots for the last couple months. I don't love Devin Lloyd, but I think if he goes to the Patriots the same way if Mac Jones went to the Patriots last year, he's going to be a star. And I think that's what Devin Lloyd can be, especially if after they've released Kyle Van Noy. That just seems like a good pick for me. And now we go to the Packers, which is an interesting position. I've not thought of anything else besides a wide receiver, which might be a bad decision on my part, but they need a wide receiver. They don't have anybody. The question is, which receiver do they go with? Do they go with Burks? Do they go with Watson? Or do they go with Pickens? Personally, like, Burks is the best player on the board in terms of receiver. But man, George Pickens is just so good and would be such a good fit for that offense. I'd have to go George Pickens in that sense. I know the character concerns might have him slide a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. I think he'll be just fine on the next level. That brings us to 23 for the Cardinals. And man, Treylon Burks is all still on the board here. They need an edge, but I mean, I don't think Karlaftis is going to go in the first round. They need a corner. I think I like Booth here. I really like Booth here, but I think they'd pass on him in favor for a guy like a Treylon Burks. And after they lost Christian Kirk, they kind of need that slot guy that can do a lot, and I think Treylon Burks does that for him. That feels like a pretty good pick for me. Sorry if this is a long video. If you're still here, thank you. Kenyon Green at 24 really interests me. I know Zion Johnson is pretty high, but I've heard that the Cowboys aren't as high on him, and the Cowboys have shown a ton of interest for Kenyon Green. They've been to his pro day. They've interviewed him in the combine. They've had him in for a top 30 visit. It just seems very likely, if you connect the dots, that Kenyon Green is going to be the pick there. I've heard that he's going to fall out of the first round, but I really feel that the Cowboys may not disregard things like a knee injury or something like that and go with him. Now we get to the Bills, and the Bills could really screw this up here because they're in the range to get a running back in the second round, but I think I just have a gut feeling that they're going to go with Breece Hall. That would really put their offense over the top, sure, but when you have guys like a Andrew Booth or a Kyer Elam available, you should probably go with them. Instead, they go Hall here. It is what it is. Again, this is not what I would do. This is personally what I feel will happen tonight. 26, the Titans, excuse me. Desmond Ridder is on the board here. Whew. You know, the smock is probably already screwed already. Where's Tyler Smith? Is he an interior? He might be an interior offensive lineman here. Tyler Smith, 43. This has been a lock for me for a very long time. But Desmond Ridder is still on the board, and that is just what good organizations do. See, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's going to be the pick here. I'm going to go Tyler Smith. I'm going to play it safe. I just don't think teams value this quarterback class enough, which it is what it is. And at this point, if Zion Johnson falls to the Buccaneers' lap, you go take him because you can win now with Zion Johnson. You can just plug him in to replace Ali Marpet and let it go. You're making the playoffs again with that offensive line, so that's pretty good. 28, the Green Bay Packers are here again. They've gotten George Pickens. It may not be a bad idea to double up on wide receiver. But for the most part, I really feel like a guy like Boye Mafe makes a lot of sense for them. They lost Zadarius Smith in the offseason, I believe. And adding a guy kind of like Zadarius Smith, who's quick and is a 3-4 edge rusher, that's a good decision. And I could definitely see them going in that direction. Chiefs at 29. I think this is Christian Watson or Sky Moore. I've had Sky Moore here for a while, but I also feel like Christian Watson could definitely be a good pick here. I'm going to go with Christian Watson. I just think he fills that X receiver position a little bit better than a Sky Moore would, and that's what they're missing. They do have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but Christian Watson is ultimately a guy that can do a lot for you in a lot of different ways, and he'd be a good pick. Now we're back on the clock. Quick turnaround here. We're at 30, and I know they got Justin Reed. Booth is on the board. Karlaftis is also on the board. I'm going to go with Daxton Hill, though. I think Daxton Hill, while I don't view him as a first-round player, seems like he's going to go first round. He could also play cornerback for you if you really need him to. But I think he's a strong safety to pair with Justin Reed in that backfield. And I think he'll be in that back end, and I think he'll be fine, which brings us to pick 31, which is the Bengals. I don't think they're going to go offensive line, so we can rule a guy like a Tyler Linderbaum out, unfortunately. I think it's down to these three characters right here, George Karlaftis, Kyer Elam, and Andrew Booth. From all indications that I've heard, guys like George Karlaftis, Nakobe Dean, Tyler Linderbaum, and Kenyon Green are going to fall out of the first round. I think Kenyon Green ends up going to Dallas. I think that is a lock for me, and if it doesn't happen, I'd be somewhat surprised. But I think Booth here, if he's available, that's a slam dunk pick. He adds immediate help to that corner secondary group that really needs help, and that would be a good pick right there. 32 for the Lions. Desmond Ridder is on the board, yeah. Matt Corral's on the board, yeah. Kyrie Elam's on the board, sure. Flyer here. I'm going to go Lewis Cine, and that's the last pick of the draft. And we'll go back down to that and talk about it for a second. But Lewis Cine, to me, is a very good football player. I think he's a first-round player, and I think if the Lions value safety like that enough, they're going to go with him. So that's pretty much it. They do need a safety as well. They could definitely go into Kobe Dean there, though, but they have that other pick. That's pretty much it. That is my final mock draft. We've got Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Stingley, Thib, Sauce Gardner, Ekwonu, Charles Cross at 7. Falcons go Wilson, then Neal, Williams. The Commanders go London. Vikings go Jordan Davis. Texans go Jermaine Johnson. Ravens go Penning, Hamilton, Olave, McDuffie, Wyatt. Wyatt's a tough one to project. Pickett go, and this pair of quarterbacks go 1920. You got Lloyd, Pickens. I feel like those are two locks for me. Traylon Burks could go here. Kenyon Green feels like a lock. Breece Hall kind of starting to feel like a lock. And Tyler, I'm more sure of these picks in the 20s than I am of the picks up above in the top 10, which is kind of crazy to me. But anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed all the content that I've put out this 2022 draft season. We've got more stuff coming. In a couple months, I'll be under a new name, and I'll be super happy about that. And we'll be doing more content for the 2023 draft, as well as all of these players next season as rookies. So if you enjoyed this one, make sure to give a like and subscribe, share. Good luck on your mock drafts tonight, and let's party. See you guys soon. Peace out.